Gaming has always meant a hell of a lot to me, and probably to you too, seeing as you're here watching this. But before we were fed to live service meat grinders with flashy cosmetics and loot boxes, I grew up brawling in Streets of Rage, Shinobi and Golden Axe with my dad. I spent entire weekends swapping controllers with my mates in Final Fantasy, GoldenEye and WWF SmackDown. But there was one genre that took a little longer to find me: horror. In April '98, along came issue 31 of the official PlayStation magazine and demo disc 14. Every month that magazine felt like a treasure map, and this was the one that changed everything. On that disc was a game that would haunt me forever, and it wasn't Gex 3D. Absolute banger of a game that, by the way. It was actually this.
Resident Evil 2.
Turning it on for the first time and watching the opening cutscene with Claire and Leon was genuinely terrifying. There's something about old horror games that made them way scarier than they actually were. They felt so real through the blur of a CRT screen, those low poly graphics mixed with the power of our imaginations. I never even managed to complete the demo. As soon as the cutscene ended, I'd smack the power button and sit there with my heart pounding, only to load it up again a few minutes later to scare myself senseless. I did this at a sleepover at my buddy's house, and after it had scared us half to death, we made the executive decision to yeet the disc out of the bedroom window into his parents' conifers, never to be seen again. But it didn't stop me wanting to play the full game, and after picking it up a few months later, that's exactly what I did, over and over again, on my own, with my dad, and with my pals. What I didn't know back then was that the game that I was falling in love with had nearly been lost forever. The developers had literally thrown away months of work to start again. So, how does it feel to go back and play it again now? The original Resident Evil is the staple survival horror game, but its sequel was a reinvention. A game that would define not just the PlayStation era, but me too. The game picks up 2 months after the events of Resident Evil at the Spencer Mansion. A Special Forces division named STARS, under the jurisdiction of Raccoon City's police department, was sent to investigate a series of grisly murders in the nearby Arklay Mountains. What they found was a mansion hiding a secret Umbrella Corporation laboratory, the source of a viral outbreak known as the T-Virus, a bioweapon that reanimates dead tissue. Only a handful of the team survived, escaping as the mansion and its horrors went up in flames. With the evidence largely destroyed, they tried to warn the world, but no one would believe them. Umbrella covered everything up, and the research didn't stop. By the time Resident Evil 2 begins, the infection has spilled out of the labs and into the streets of Raccoon City, turning an isolated experiment into a full-scale nightmare. Capcom had no idea just how successful Resident Evil would be in 1996, and started work on its sequel just 1 month later. The intention was to tie up the loose ends from the first game and close the book on the series. Can you imagine if that actually happened, by the way? Crazy. The game they made is now referred to as Resident Evil 1.5 by the fandom. It starred Elza Walker, a blonde motorcycle racer, and Leon Kennedy, a veteran cop who would make it to the final version but as a rookie instead. It was brighter, more action-focused, enemies dropped ammo, and the RPD looked clean and futuristic instead of gothic and decaying. Director Hideki Kamiya, from Devil May Cry and Bayonetta, was leading the project, but series creator Shinji Mikami felt that it lacked 2 key ingredients: atmosphere and horror. So even though the game was around 70% done, he made a pretty bold call: start again. This is where screenwriter Noboru Sugimura came in, someone that had been writing TV shows since the 70s and would eventually become the lead writer for the series. The near total reboot became the Resident Evil 2 we know today. It's poetic, really. A game that reinvented itself before it even came out, the same way that it would redefine the entire genre. The game was split onto 2 discs that follow the stories of Leon Kennedy and Claire Redfield, the replacement for Elza Walker, but she still got to keep the bike. Claire's playthrough begins with her arriving in Raccoon City to look for her brother Chris from the first game, but pulling over at a diner reveals that this is going to be anything but a straightforward family reunion.
I'm finally here.
That guy's a maniac. Why'd he bite me?
Hello? Is anyone here? Hello? Hello? Look, I'm sorry I bothered you, okay? Just don't come any closer. Are you listening? Ah! Ah! Wait! Don't shoot!
Get down! We can't stay out here. Head to the police station. It'll be a lot safer. There! Buckle up.
Okay. What's going on? I arrived in town, and the whole place went
Great.
insane.
The radio's out.
You're a cop, right?
Yeah, first day on the job. Great, huh? Name's Leon Kennedy. Nice to meet you.
Mine's Claire. Claire Redfield. I came to find my brother, Chris.
Hey, could you open the glove box?
Sure. There's a gun inside.
Better take it with you. You okay?
Still in one piece.
Hey! That maniac's gonna win us! Claire!
Leon!
I'm okay. Head to the station. I'll meet you there.
Okay.
Considering how much the opening cutscene terrified me as a kid, it's weird how it's now so comforting. One thing you'll notice is that some of my footage is captured right here in front of this big ass TV that I picked up on Gumtree for like a $5 on all of the original hardware, and some of it's from my PC. The PC version has been modded to upscale the cutscenes and backgrounds, and it's crazy how much of its aura it loses by doing that. That's no shade on the developers of this mod, by the way, and I'll link it below if you want to check it out, but it's wild how increasing the visual fidelity decreases the scare factor. As Claire, the game starts with you fleeing from the tanker crash through the streets filled with your first 3 enemies. Number 1, zombies. The most iconic enemy in horror gaming history. Ooh, it looks like this particular image came with some free hairs. Enjoy that. Number 2, the controls. Holy shit, it took me a minute to remember how tank controls worked. And number 3, the camera angles. Like the first game and a load of others in this era, Resi 2 worked on fixed camera angles. Gorgeous for the time, pre-rendered background images set the scene as 3D character models skate around on the surface. This was such a genius way of the devs squeezing as much as they could out of a console that, by today's standards, was basically a microwave. But they weren't just clever ways to circumvent technical limitations. Much like Silent Hill's use of fog to hide pop-in, they used these camera angles to hide their horror. Capcom studied cinematography to make you feel hunted even when you couldn't see what was coming. It makes every turn feel staged like a horror movie. And even all of these years later, there are certain camera changes that I don't want to trigger because I know what's coming. The first character you interact with is the gross gun shop dude who sounds like this.
Sorry about that, babe.
He manages to call you babe, darling, and girly within 10 seconds of meeting him, which probably wouldn't fly in a game made in 2025, but you won't have to worry about him for long. You bounce out of the gun shop and awkwardly wander through the chaos that is the streets of Raccoon City, with your main objective being to head for the police station to find Chris. It's not long before you get there, and you'll find that this is the weirdest bloody police station you have ever seen. And that's the point. This building was once an art museum, so all of the puzzles, statues and paintings you encounter kind of make sense. It also works as a metaphor for beauty hiding corruption underneath, the perfect stage for Umbrella's lies. The original concept for the building was a modern police HQ, but Mikami wanted that gothic horror vibe again. That shift gave the game its iconic tone, and I will never forget the music used here. You soon meet a cop called Marvin who sounds like this. He tells you that they lost contact with all of the STARS team members, Chris included, 10 days ago. He then gets Claire clued up on the events of the first game and that
Umbrella
we're behind everything. He gives you a keycard, which means we can now fully explore this bizarre puzzle-filled station, which elegantly brings me onto the next section that made me want to slap the power button when I was a kid. One of the doors it unlocks is filled with nothing but silence, which is a little suspicious if you ask me. The fixed camera angles creep around the corner of the room, but tease a little reveal. What the fuck was that? The next room is also silent, except for the subtle sound of dripping in the distance. And this is where things are about to get real. No thanks, that's enough for me. Seriously though, I cannot tell you how much that cutscene used to scare me. As you can see behind me, the liquor isn't even hugely difficult to take out. Even now, through the static of an old TV, that fear feels more real than any 4K remake ever could. And that's not knocking the remake either, that thing fucking slaps. Lickers are what happens when the T-Virus pushes a zombie's mutation to the extreme. Their skin peels away, muscles overgrow, and their bodies reform until they're barely even human anymore. In essence, the liquor is what happens when the infection stops trying to mimic humanity and starts perfecting the hunt. Thankfully, there are plenty of health items around here, including the iconic first aid spray and the humble green herb. Right after healing, you also get your first dose of the glorious savouring music. They actually made this banger at a tempo that matches a resting heart rate to subconsciously calm you down, which is a really nice touch. It didn't work, but it was a nice idea. After the liquor scare, the game settles into this amazing rhythm of combat, evasion, and puzzle solving that made the first game so good, but refines it. It had been years, maybe even decades since I'd last played this game, and coming back to it felt like throwing on an old pair of shoes. It was just immediately comfy. I couldn't remember why I knew how to solve some of the puzzles, or even the order I was supposed to do them in. I just did. If I could remember actually important things in real life as well as I remember this game, I would be dangerous, I swear. The story unfolds largely through letters, diaries, and sometimes older formats too. For example, that, my Gen Z friends, is a fax machine. Over time, you learn that the chief of police, Brian Irons, sick name by the way, is actually a bit of a dodgy geezer. He was the one that signed off on purchasing the art museum for its strategic location and collection of artistic works. This move put him in close proximity to Umbrella, a major employer in the city, but most importantly, it would begin to strengthen ties between himself and Umbrella employees, which would lead to his corruption. Over the past 5 years, he'd received monthly bribes from Umbrella, helped to cover up the incident at Spencer Mansion, and you also learn that he'd been arrested for violent crimes against women in his younger years. The story is way darker than I realised when I was like 9 years old when I was first playing this, but I'll explain more in a sec. Not long after this, I was trotting through this corridor that promptly sent my pants to Browntown when these flipping crows burst through the windows. I kind of forgot about this jump scare in all honesty. This serves me right for kicking a crow in my last Resident Evil video, doesn't it? That's awful, isn't it? Next up, you'll see a little girl running around the station, and saving her then becomes a priority that will play out alongside the larger plot. Before we find out who she is, though, we run into Irons.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I thought you were another one of those zombies.
Are you Chief Irons?
Yes, that's me. And just who are you? No, don't bother telling me. It makes no difference. You'll end up just like all the others. That's the mayor's daughter. I was told to look after her, but I failed miserably. Just look at her. She was a true beauty. Her skin nothing short of perfection. But it will soon putrefy, and she will turn into a zombie within the hour, like all the others.
There must be some way to stop it.
In a manner of speaking, there is. Either by putting a bullet through her brain, or by decapitating her completely. And to think that taxidermy used to be my hobby. But no longer. Please. I'd really like to be alone now.
So if it wasn't clear already, this guy is a right weirdo. After this, we meet the little girl from earlier, Sherry, and she tells us that there's a much bigger monster roaming the station that seems to be looking for her specifically. She bolts, and when we return to Iron's office, he's vanished and taken the mayor's daughter's body with him like a little creep. Looking for Sherry again, I was reminded of why I don't like dogs in Resident Evil games, as I got my ass absolutely handed to me while getting stuck in a reload loop. After you find Sherry again, this is the first time you take control of her, which is fine. I know these sections get a lot of hate, and I totally get it. You do find an important key and some grenade launcher shells that she just casually tosses over the wall to Claire. As we assume control of Claire again, we carry on puzzle solving and running away from terrifying creatures, but there's one bit of text that stands out here. When interacting with a locker, you find a submachine gun and a side pack. Buzzing, right? Well, what's interesting is, after equipping the side pack, the prompt reads, "I should probably save it for Leon." This is the first real mention of a concept known as zapping. At the time, zapping was a revolutionary idea that allowed players to affect the story of their second run in their first playthrough. In this case, if we take the Uzi 9mm now as Claire, it won't be here for us as our second run as Leon. Pretty cool, right? Back to the story, and a puzzle reveals a secret door in the police chief's office where we find a note from William Birkin. Man, I teased doing a video about this guy in the 7th video I ever made back in February, and I can't believe I actually get to talk about this guy now. The note confirms the bribes Irons received, but also mentions a replacement for the T-virus known as the G-virus. On the way through the tunnels connected to Irons' office, we're interrupted by a cutscene that shows an unknown creature shooting some kind of worm thing into Irons' gob for some reason. Now, while the sounds are still awesome, that clip looks so goofy without the blur of an old TV and the fog of memory. I can assure you though, it's V scary. But maybe that's what made it hit so hard for me as a kid. Back then it wasn't about realism, it was about the blanks that your mind filled in, and something definitely gets lost when the imperfections are made so clear.
So you've made it this far. Not bad, girl. But I'm not letting anyone leave my town. Everyone's gonna die!
Calm down, Chief. What happened?
Shut up! You couldn't possibly understand what's happened. Those monsters from Umbrella have destroyed my beautiful town. How could they do that to me after everything I've done for them?
So it's true. You have been working with Umbrella. Then you must know about the G-virus. What is it? Tell me!
If you must know, it's the agent that can turn humans into the ultimate bioweapons. Superior to the T-virus in every way. Dr. William Birkin is the genius behind the project.
William Birkin?
I'm sure you've already seen this little girl running around here somewhere. Sherry, isn't it? In case you haven't already figured it out. The monster that's been tearing my precinct apart is yet another product of the G-virus. An ultimate bioweapon. Umbrella must be trying to cover its tracks. But if I have to go, I'm going to take you with me. My chest can't take the pain!
So that worm was actually a G-virus embryo that turns Irons into a lasagna, and it's only now we have a look at the room where he met his end. When I mentioned earlier that he was a weirdo, that barely scratched the surface. This room has chemicals and remains that would suggest that this guy isn't just a creep, he's actually a serial killer. This is expanded on in Resident Evil Outbreak 2, where a newspaper report suggests that 8 young, attractive blonde women had all gone missing. After they went missing, the constrained voices of women could be heard from a sewer drain for several hours, suggesting that these cries emanated from this very room. When I was a kid, I thought he was creepy because he was into taxidermy and took bribes. I didn't realise he was a bloody serial killer. Anyway, he's dead now, but what happened to that tiny little slimy chap that scurried out of him? Oh, gross, what is that? No, seriously, what is that? In this brief boss battle, the embryo reforms into whatever the hell this thing is and starts squirting out other little embryos that cling onto you. To shake them off, all you need to do is mash the buttons on your controller. However, since it's 2025 and those types of interactions are usually accompanied by a button press, I didn't realise this, and this will come back to haunt me very, very shortly. You head back to collect Sherry, who we now know is William Birkin's daughter, as she's going to accompany you from here on out. And if you thought the footsteps were loud and annoying before, they're about to be twice as annoying. Oh, and if you're wondering what that would sound like with a musical accompaniment, it'd probably go a little something like this. Shout out to my good friend and moderator Woodall for the music there. Come and join the Discord server if you want to annoy him. You take Sherry down into the epicenter of all of this, the sewers, but not before being interrupted by our old man.
Claire? Run!
After getting washed away in the poopy sewer water, we take control of Sherry in a really short section that shouldn't cause us any problems, right? The only place to go is through a vent filled with cockroaches. Now this is one part of old school gaming that has never gotten any easier for me. Save points. Maybe I was overly confident, but at this point I hadn't saved the game in like 25 minutes, so I had to go back and do a whole chunk of it again. All the cutscenes, a puzzle, grabbing items from the box, the boss fight. I was not pleased. But at least I only had to get through that one vent at the end, and this time I knew I just had to run straight through without stopping. Yep, I died again. It was only now that I twigged that I could simply shake off the cockroaches by mashing the buttons on my controller. You know, just like I should have done before with the little embryo dudes. Journeying all the way back for a third time, I finally did it.
That is right, I did it! Act number 5! Are you kidding me? That's right! Who do you think you are? I am!
I was even more pissed though, because the next save point is literally right after the next cutscene. With Sherry in the bin, we set about finding her. If you've watched my channel before, you probably know by now that I don't really like any kind of insect, so the cockroach bit was quite horrible for me. It could have been worse though. At least they weren't spiders. No. Wait. I had completely forgotten that there were spiders in the sewer, and to say that they scared me all over again would be an understatement. In the sewers, we run into Annette Birkin, William's wife and Sherry's mum, and we get treated to this amazing cutscene.
This way. It's sheer perfection. My precious G-Virus. No one will ever take you away from me.
There he is.
So you finally come.
Doctor, we're here to collect the G-Virus sample.
Sorry, but I won't just hand over my life's work.
Stop it! You might hit the sample. That's it, all right. Okay, let's move out.
William. Oh my. Hold on, darling. I'm taking care of that bullet wound first. Stay here.
Alpha team, have you retrieved the sample yet?
Affirmative. You'll be at the rendezvous point in 1 minute.
Roger.
Are you telling me that he injected the G-Virus into his own body?
The G-Virus has the ability to revitalize cellular functions.
What was that? Something's wrong. Let's check it out. Over there!
Shoot it! Eat this, you freak!
The bodies aren't stopping it!
What is this thing?
Hurry! What is this thing? Fire! Fire! You son of a...
This, the opening truck explosion scene and another at the end were actually outsourced to a team of CG film artists. Cutting edge stuff for 1998. After finding out Sherry is running around on her own, she bounces and leaves us to it. It doesn't take long to find her, but there is a bit of a stumbling block before you reach her. This battle is actually pretty straightforward. Run away, trigger the gas canister, flail and shoot your bow randomly at the floor several times, wait for the alligator to pick up the canister, and then shoot its face off its face. It's probably not the cleanest execution of this boss that you've ever seen on YouTube, but this is my journey, and I'm sticking to it.
Wake up, Sherry. My stomach. It hurts. Don't worry. You'll be fine. Come on. Let's go.
From here onward, the clock is ticking as Sherry has now been implanted with the G-Virus embryo. The two of you leave the sewers and head to the Umbrella secret labs via a vertical tram elevator. But again, this journey isn't going to be straightforward.
Her forehead's burning up. I've got to hurry before the embryos pupate.
Well, you wouldn't want your embryos to pupate, would you? This next section is a... Oh, be brave. Oh, be brave. You have to fight a boss. This first battle against Birkin is so cool. The music, his character design, the moving platform thing, it's all so cool. Once the tram arrives at its final destination, we're nearly at the end of our first run. Sherry takes Claire's jacket and stays put here while we try and head out and put a stop to all of these wacky experiments once and for all. And I'm pretty confident that we can do it. Along with stopping the experiments, you have to acquire a vaccine for Sherry to stop her turning into something from Doom like her dad. Along the way, you meet a couple of new enemies here in the form of plant dudes who can only be killed by fire, and a new, tougher version of the Licker that appears in a jump scare that I'd completely forgotten about. I haven't played this game in like 20 years, give me a break. Annette is here again and she gets slapped to bits by William before you find your way into this gross room. My fear of insects didn't serve me well here, but you kill the boss moth thing with a single shell from the grenade launcher, so it's nothing too spooky. Annette dies and the lab goes into a self-destruct sequence that really accelerates things. It also means you have to listen to this siren and announcement for every minute until you complete the game. Music goes hard though, to be fair. Leon rocks up, and solving the puzzles within the lab finally grants you a base vaccine that allows you to mix it with the serum to save Sherry. Although it kinda looks like but before we can give it to her, a 5-minute timer starts and we have to wait for the slowest elevator in the world to arrive. Wait, why is that tile a different colour to the rest? The next couple of minutes shows me getting my ass kicked and then delivering the final shot while the boss's butthole was pointed directly at the camera. Don't say I'm not a filmmaker. The final cutscene plays out and our glorious heroes make their way out of the labs by the skin of their teeth.
Sherry's unconscious.
I have the antidote, if I give it to her.
Claire, what's happening?
Not now. Come on, Sherry, wake up. Wake up. Please wake up. Claire? Where am I?
It worked!
Oh, Sherry, you're gonna be okay. Thanks, Claire.
It's over.
No. I have to find my brother.
You're right. This is just the beginning.
Ah, my God has protected you. It will always be with you. Claire. Sherry.
So that's the end of the first playthrough, but it isn't even close to the full story. For that, we need to run through from Leon's perspective too, and it's fascinating to see how well it builds on the story, especially for a game that came out like, 27 years ago? The second playthrough has new characters, new cutscenes, different weapons, and also some different set pieces that I'd completely forgotten about. So let's check it out. The opening is largely the same, only this time, Leon ends up on the other side of the tanker. By the way, for someone who ends up as a pretty handsome dude in later games, the guy is straight up terrifying in this one, don't you think? After completing the game once already, this time the fear hits different. You know the streets, you know the station, but Capcom still finds a way to screw with you. That old pair of shoes we threw on earlier is now filled with zombies. It's a weird visual, just go with it. Leon's journey is a lot more grounded. He has no family connection pulling him along. He's just a rookie cop trying to do his job on the worst day imaginable. There are some insane new enemy placements like this one. What the fuck? Which goes to show what's expected of you this time. There's some new jump scare moments that I'd completely forgotten about. And there's also a new enemy you have to deal with.
Surprise, motherfucker!
After the T-Virus outbreak spirals out of control in Raccoon City, Umbrella deploys a batch of mutant bioweapons known as Tyrants to complete two objectives. Number 1, kill any survivors to cover up the outbreak, and number 2, recover the G-Virus sample that Willie B created. This leads to him pursuing you around the station, but not in the way he does in the super sexy remake. It's contained within scripted moments and designed to scare the ever-living heck out of you. It was here that I realised that I hadn't even gone through this playthrough much as a kid because I couldn't remember any of the jump scares. What I reckon is that I just repeated the first playthrough a bunch of times because it was comfy and it didn't scare me too much once I'd completed it a few times. Going through it again now made all of that fear bubble up to the surface again, and I was fully unprepared for some of these moments. From here, you'll start to notice decisions you made in your first run impacting this one. For example, I repaired these shutters as Claire so the zombies wouldn't bother me in this hallway, but now, as Leon, the shutters have failed and zombies are going to start to pour in. Leon meets a couple of characters in quick succession, first in the parking lot. I fully shit my pants at the sound of that gunshot. I wish I had a camera rolling or something at the time because it was, frankly, embarrassing.
Sorry about that. When I saw the uniform, I thought you were another zombie.
Who are you?
Ada Wong.
And what are you doing here?
I'm looking for some guy named Ben. He's one of those reporter types, always looking for a scoop. I heard he was locked up in the cell block, only there's a wrecked car barring the entrance. I've been trying to find another way inside. If we work together, we can move this thing. Give me a hand here, will you?
Ada is clearly a capable fighter, but she's also a mysterious girl, and wastes no time leaving Leon behind after she's used him. Where Claire's story is about family and innocence in chaos, Leon's story is about mistrust and manipulation. Ada's original concept in Resident Evil 1.5 was a researcher named Linda, a far more innocent, helpful character. When Sugimura rewrote the script, he imagined her as a femme fatale to balance Leon's naive optimism. This entire subplot, umbrella, espionage, betrayal, was born from that one change, one of the major evolutions that made Resident Evil 2's storytelling so cinematic for the time. A couple of minutes later, you meet the very dude she was looking for, Ben. And he has a ponytail. I don't mean anything by that. Nothing wrong with a ponytail. Maybe you've got a problem with ponytails. Maybe you're the problem.
Is this the guy?
Ben, you told the city officials that you knew something about what's been going on, didn't you? What did you tell them?
And who the heck are you?
I'm trying to find my boyfriend. His name's John. He was working for a branch office of Umbrella, based in Chicago, but he suddenly disappeared 6 months ago. I heard a rumor that he's here in the city.
I don't know anything. And even if I did, why would I want to tell you?
Okay, I say we leave him in there. Does anyone know where they put the key to this cell?
I have it right here, officer. But I'm not about to leave this cell. Those zombies aren't the only things crawling around out there.
What was that?
All right, I'm going.
Ada meets Sherry briefly before meeting back up with Leon again, who finally gets a chance to introduce him to her properly, and her reaction fully made me laugh out loud.
I don't think I've introduced myself yet. My name's Leon. I'm with the RPD.
We now have to play as Ada briefly, and these sections are largely the same as Sherry's, only we can actually use a gun and there aren't any cockroaches. She also finds Sherry's dropped locket, which seems like a random collectible, but actually turns out to be crucial later. Back in control of Leon, we get another example of the zapping system. Remember the submachine gun we left as Claire? It's now ours to pick up. We tie up some loose ends in the police station while being pursued by Mr. X in only the narrowest of corridors, but thankfully, he can't follow you everywhere. You complete some of the same puzzles on your first playthrough. Holy shit! Sorry, as I was saying, you complete some of the same. Oh my god, dude, give me a break, Jesus! There's quite a bit of backtracking in this bit, but there's also a very Metroidvania style shortcut that opens up behind this door in the form of a dust chute. You already know what's coming. Then comes Ben's big scene, and he gets absolutely bodied by Birkin.
Get away!
But before he croaks, he gives Leon a note about Irons being a co-conspirator, confirming that the T-virus wasn't the only infection spreading throughout Raccoon City. Ada reappears, as cold as ever, and heads straight for the lab, completely ignoring Leon. There's this recurring gag throughout the game that no one ever listens to Leon. There's even a proper fourth wall break later on as he acknowledges it too, but I'll get to that in a bit. Anyway, we head back to the labs, but not before being interrupted by a familiar face. Again, I completely forgot about this encounter, so I went in with about 20 bullets in a dream and promptly got my head caved in. Going back later on with my shotgun sure did the trick though. What's funny is that Birkin obviously doesn't die here. The boss music just stops and he casually ambles over towards the railing and falls over the edge. We finally reunite with Ada and meet Annette Birkin for the first time in Leon's campaign. A quick chase leads Leon to taking a bullet for Ada, who, in true Ada fashion, literally doesn't care.
That woman was... I have to talk to her.
And it's not long until she catches up with Annette. We learn that Ada's boyfriend John is dead, and we get a bit of a lore dump on things I've explained already, before there's a scuffle, and Ada yeets Annette over the railing, and she reacts exactly as you'd expect.
Too bad.
We now learn the significance of Sherry's locket too. It has a near finalised sample of the G-virus within it for safekeeping. We snap back to Leon, who has temporarily shrugged off the bullet he took to the heart, and find Ada hanging out in the sewer. Another note on zapping here, because we killed Killer Croc earlier on, we don't have to face him again here. Neat. Ada then agrees to patch Leon up, and all of a sudden, she's super interested in him. She found out her fella died about 5 minutes ago and she's already moving on to the next guy.
Hello?
The two of you head to the tram that leads to the labs before being interrupted by Birkin again, this time in a super Terminator 2 coded mini-boss. Come to think of it, that wasn't the only time that this game reminded me of T2. The truck appearing in the opening cinematic, coupled with this audio sting. It's all oddly familiar. I guess all of this makes sense though. The game was in development 5 or 6 years after one of the best movies of all time was released, so why wouldn't you lean on it? It's not unfeasible to think that the Terminator was inspiration for Mr. X too. That is, if the Terminator rummaged through a charity shop for his clothes rather than a biker bar. On the way down to the labs, Ada gets walloped by Birkin before we head for a boss fight from earlier on. But this time, we've got a big ass submachine gun though. He doesn't die for obvious reasons, and then unceremoniously sods off by jumping over the railing. Heading back inside, we check on Ada again.
Welcome back. Hey, take it easy. We're inside Umbrella's secret lab. I'll go find something to treat that wound, so just rest here in the meantime.
But I'll only slow you down with these injuries. Go. Save yourself.
Is it just me, or does everybody always ignore what I say? I told you, it's my job to look after you.
But you'll be in danger if you stay with me. I know I've only known you for a short period of time, but I really enjoy being with you. I know I'm not capable of caring about anyone, but I don't want to lose you.
Am I missing something here? She went from not caring about Leon in the slightest to now looking like she'd tongue kiss a toaster just to smell his hair. What's the deal? We get a mod for our shotgun which makes it one of my favourite weapons in the game because it now kicks like a mule and sounds like this.
Jesus Christ.
Seriously, you just point this gun at a room and pull the trigger. Check it.
Nice car.
Oh, wrong one. Another gun I've not spoken about yet is the Magnum, and I wanted to wait until you get the upgrade for it because this thing is incredible. I kept getting poisoned and munched on by the plants in the lab, and you can tell that I was losing my temper because I ended up annihilating them with the Magnum too. Once you're done working through the lab and having fun with your new guns, you meet Annette again.
You murdered my husband. I know what you're looking for. You came for the G-Virus, didn't you? But you will never take it from me. This is my husband's legacy. Now, where's that spy you were working with earlier? You know who I'm talking about.
What?
You really don't know anything, do you? You're so gullible. She's one of the operatives sent here by the agency. The only reason why she came here is to obtain the G-Virus.
That's a lie.
No, it's the truth. I discovered this when I did a background check on her. She specifically got close to John and became his girlfriend to get information about Umbrella.
Now it all makes sense as to why Ada was being so coy earlier on. It still doesn't explain why she got the hots for Leon so quick, but I guess he is a good-looking chap. In any case, we're gonna need her help.
Run!
Ada! Ada!
Leon, please, escape.
No. We're a team. I can't just leave you behind.
I'm just a woman who fell in love with you. Nothing more.
What the fuck?
Ada. No.
self-destruct sequence has been activated. Repeat, the self-destruct sequence has been activated.
I will always remember.
You don't even know her! We see Mr. X climbing out of the pit of lava below, something that even a Terminator couldn't manage, and chat to Claire on the walkie-talkie. She's now going to be tied up with Birkin, as we know from our first playthrough, so we have to go and collect Sherry, who we left sleeping next to posters of scantily clad women. As you may have imagined, our final boss is going to be someone else. A deeply infected Mr. X. I wanted this to be some kind of grand ending, but I actually got here on low health, so he destroyed me pretty quickly if I'm honest. I remember now that I'm actually not very good at games, and that's okay. Anyway, once I was done being trash, I shot him up with a magnum until a particularly mysterious girl throws you a rocket launcher. I guess we might be seeing old Wongy again someday soon. In any case, you use the launcher to vaporize Mr. X once and for all.
Game over.
Heading back to the train, I nearly accidentally shot this zombie square in the face from 6 inches away with the rocket launcher before once again proving that the Magnum is the best gun in the game. Nice. Look at his cheeks, by the way. No one needed this level of detail in this game. Just like the first playthrough, you escape on the train with Sherry and Claire, but just when you think it's going to end, some automated system detects an anomaly on the train and sets it to self-destruct, and we get to meet the final remnant of our good buddy, Willie B, and his butthole of doom. This is such an amazing twist. I love that they lulled you into this false sense of security with the ending cutscene, only to just throw you back into a boss fight. It's a pretty easy battle, but we're not out of the woods yet.
Warning, warning. The self-destruct system has been activated. Each train compartment will detonate sequentially. Repeat, each train compartment will detonate sequentially.
Claire! Stop the train!
I can't. The door to the control room is locked. Sherry? What are you doing?
We have to stop the train, right? I can do it.
But... Come and get me. I'm right here.
Which one's the right switch? Maybe this one?
Sherry!
Leon! Ah!
I can't hold on.
Push the switch over there!
Got it!
Finally, the exit.
Are you all right?
I'm okay.
Where's Claire?
Claire? Claire!
Right here.
Claire!
I guess we all made it. They just won't quit. Come on, we have to get out of here. Run! So, it's finally over. Sherry, you look terrible.
No worse than you, Claire.
Listen here, you little shit.
Come on, time to leave.
Now? What's wrong? Is something following us?
We have to go. We don't have any time to waste.
Go? Where?
Hey, it's up to us to take out Umbrella.
Probably the cheesiest outro ever made, but I'm not even mad about it. It ends a playthrough that's way more chaotic than the gritty first one, and I love it for that. When I was a kid, this game made me afraid to even turn the lights off, and those feelings are still so vivid in my memory. But now, it reminds me of why I fell in love with games in the first place. It defined the design choices that shaped horror as we know it. Without this game and the original, we don't get Silent Hill, Dead Space, The Evil Within, The Last of Us, and so many other games. I probably wouldn't have created this channel either. More importantly though, I'd never have created all of those memories with my friends and my family when I was growing up. I get to look back on those long breaks in the school holidays where I'd play this game with my dad and we'd stay up until God knows what time in the morning trying to finish it. Playing it again now on this TV that my dad helped me to collect because it literally wouldn't have even fit in the boot of my car brings back some of those same feelings, even well over 20 years later. And I'm sure if you've got your own stories with this game, it does the same for you too. So when it's all said and done, I guess flinging that demo disc into my mate's parents' conifers wasn't such a bad idea after all. That's all for this one. Thanks so much for coming on this personal little journey with me. And if you have any stories on this game or any other from when you were a kid, please drop them in the comments below. I'm feeling crazy nostalgic after this one, so I'd love to read them. I've just started streaming my edits and my playthroughs on Twitch, and I'll be dropping the full VODs on my second channel, Mikey Lee Live too, so head over and subscribe to that if you haven't already. Oh, and hey, come and join my Discord server, The Save Room. Links for all of these things are in the description, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.